Have you been taking public transportation but got stuck in the driving strike and had penalties of being late to work? Therefore, you gave up public transportation and buy a car. However, have you found that you're getting more and more struggle to pay fuel costs? Have you cut back on the family budget to pay the rising fuel prices? So today, I would like to talk about the rising fuel prices that have caused people hard to afford driving. Firstly, let's do some calculations. According to the datasets prepared by Australian Institution of Petrol, the average petrol prices of unleaded 91 is $105.5 per 100 litre in 2020 and increases to $174 per 100 litre in 2023. Despite other possible ways that have to drive and suppose the car is only to be used for travel to work, which is a must for people. We suppose the average fuel tank is 50 liter. The car have to fill up their tank once a week. So we use the difference of the fuel prices, multiply volume of the fuel tank, which is 50 liter, and multiply 52 weeks in a year. And finally, we got $1,781 of increase of cost just due to the fuel increase. Yes, so the fact is that we're spending $1,781 more per year on only fuel up of a car. And it's just for filling up with the cheapest unleaded 91 petrol. And the car is only used for driving to work. Also, according to the statistics, the petrol retail prices has been a 32.8% of increase from 2020 to 2022, compared to the wages of only 5.2% rises for the lowest paid. Therefore, it indicates the difficulty for commuters to persist afford driving. However, some people may ask, why not travel by public transportation? The truth is that Australia's public transportation is so unreliable. In August 2021, New South Wales public transport faced extensive delays and cancellations due to strikes affecting around 21 days just in the month and affecting 18 days in November in the same year. The unreliability of public transportation have forced people to rely on costly cars, straining their budgets and reducing their quality of life. According to Sustainable Development Goals, United Nations also point out the aim of achieving affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport system for all. In target 11.2, is which Australia should still have to put more focus on and trying to achieve. So here's how the price of fuel increases. From the graph, we can see that both petrol and diesel prices have a sudden increase up to 2020 and exceeded the previous high, which achieves the highest price in 20 years. Gives us such sudden tension to family's daily budget to afford driving. However, some may argue that increasing fuel prices is a good thing to the environment and economic. It may be necessary to address various environmental and economic concerns. They may contend that higher prices can force people give up driving, which lead to reduced consumption. Studies have suggested that each 10% increase in the price of petrol then less boosts the average fuel efficiency of new cars by 2%. Therefore, they believe that increasing fuel prices can help reduce carbon emissions and encourage the adoption of alternative energy resources. Additionally, despite record highs in Australian petrol prices, the fuel prices in Australia still remain relatively low compared to international standards. According to the graph, Australian fuel prices is the fourth lowest among the 33 Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development nations, which largely due to which largely due to the low taxation. Therefore, some even support to set a higher fuel prices to tax Australian people more, as high taxes maybe better reflect the cost of roads and road repair, which benefits the broader population in the long run. But however, although traffic emissions contribute significantly to air pollution, changes in fuel prices have no impact on air quality, as Australian air quality is generally among the cleanest in the world. Hence, raising fuel prices may not effectively discourage driving, but exacerbate financial difficulties, especially for low-income families. The graph is based on weekly earning distribution and average fuel consumption. The line represents income distribution per week, while the bar shows the percentage of total income allocated to fuel expenses for different income groups. In 2023, Australia even reaches an average household in regional areas of Australia spent approximately $97 per week on fuel, which costs low-income group, we say from $0 to $499 per week, to spend more than 20% of their income on fuel costs. The graph indicates that most people are medium to low-income groups, with fuel costs accounting for a larger proportion of living expenses. Therefore, the impact of increasing fuel prices on financial strain is much more severe than the environmental impact. Besides, increasing fuel prices not only affects people who drive, but also impact almost all consumers, since it will cause the prices of goods and services that rely on road transportation to go up. So higher oil prices result in increased cost for the production of goods and services, as well as inflation, unemployment, reduced demand for products and other than oil, and lower capital investments. If still increasing fuel prices, tax revenue will continue to decline and budget deficit increase, driving up interest rates. In the long run, these effects will be greater the more abrupt and severe the oil price increase, and will be exacerbated by the impact on consumer and business confidence. It will not benefit the population, but further impact consumer confidence. Therefore, in order to address the challenge brought by increasing fuel prices, the Australian government should put more effort into setting strategies to monitor and control oil prices. Additionally, improving the reliability and efficiency of public transportation might be helpful for commuters to transform their way of travel. Last but not least, introducing more electric cars and establish more charging piles for electric cars might also give drivers a release to the increasing fuel prices. So finally, I'd like to say thank you to all the professor, tutor, classmates, and friends who had helped me a lot with the data story. Firstly, thanks for helping me prepare my data story graph. So as you can see from the comparison on the first version to the final version, I've made a lot of changes. From the first graph, I put all the cities figures into the document and automatically came out the original graph. As cities in Australia have the same trend of fuel prices and only have little differences in fuel prices, the comparison between Australia's major cities is meaningless. Using only national average prices would be more explicit instead of listing all the major cities. Moreover, the given data set, including the average price, is only up to 2022. So as 2023 daily statistics are still being updated, but the line chart shows a significant increase after 2020. Adding the 2023 petrol prices would be better to make the growth more obvious. So I made the first change. delete the major cities of Australia petrol prices and only keep the average price and also add each figure to the line chart. I've also added the data for the year 2023 to show the petrol prices continue to grow up to 2020. After that, I present the second version to my classmate. They suggest me to add in diesel price, as diesel and petrol are the two main types of fuel for the car. So when I look again into data side, diesel prices show a much more typical increasing since 2020 than petrol. So it would be better to add it in. And also another classmate mentioned that the color is too light and hard to see clearly. So I made my second change. I add diesel prices to the graph. I changed color a bit clearer. After that, Liam suggests it would be better to delete the figures in the graph, since the figures are too crowded by showing two lines in the same chart, but still showing the data for each point. Removing the figures would be clearer. Then I made my third change. Delete all the figures in the graph in both the lines and points to make a better visualization. After that, when I confidently shows it in my lab, my tutor pointed out that adding a label and unit to the y-axis would be clearer, as if people who have not yet to live in Australia very long will be confused with the dollar amount. I just realized I've already get used to Australian petrol prices are marked as dollar per 100 liter, but I have neglected the importance of unit. Then it comes to my last change, the fourth change. I've added both the axis and y-axis label at the unit of axis, and also enlarged the size of all the characters in the graph. Overall, thanks to all the tutors and classmates that have helped me with improving my graph and pointing out issues I've never thought of, such as changing the colors and sizes, specify the label in units. Although I wouldn't think it would be necessary to make those small changes, but after the change, the image indeed expresses the fuel prices trend that I want to reflect more clearly and intuitively. So I really appreciate it. Moreover, I would like to say thank you to the whole course, COMM 5501. It taught me a lot during the whole semester. It taught me to consider the issue comprehensively, as firstly, I only include petrol prices but forgot to include diesel prices. I should consider that there are two kinds of fuel when I draw the first picture. And secondly, it taught me to jump out of my own thinking framework. So I always thought of put more fuel prices of different cities in the graph would be more specified, and spend a lot of time trying to figure out how I can make the graph clear with 8 similar lines. However, I overlooked their trends are almost the same. And also, it's a good way to ask for others' feedbacks, because it also helped me to jump out of my own thinking framework. And thirdly, I learned that I can't ignore details. As we all know, the devil is in the details. So details like colors and sizes are as important as trends. At first, I wasn't much interested in the significance of just changing the color and thought of the same effect after changing. However, I was totally shocked with the different effects after the color change, as it indeed showing the graph more clear and automatically lead the audience attention more to the trend of the fuel prices. So thanks to the course have taught me a lot. In the future, I will be preparing jumping out of my thinking framework by asking more people. And also I should ask myself about what it felt like if it's the first time for me to sing it. Also, I should try to practice myself thinking different perspectives by asking more questions like what it shows me, which part is most clear. Hence, it could be a way to help me view my work more objectively. So in addition, only color can help a lot in the graph. In the future, I will pay more attention to details, and most importantly, I learned the use of chat to voice my statement to the audience. Sometimes I'm more straightforward. So finally, the most important principle I've learned that reminds me the whole semester is when everything is important, then nothing is important. I will remember it deep in mind and also reminds me the following studies. Thanks for listening, and here's my reference.